Hi, it's Martin Gibbons. I'm going to be talking about career change, and this is a free mini crash course, if you like, to give you an idea of what the career change course and ebook and personality report is all about. So you can read more about that below. And I thought actually, rather we'd just tell you about it, rather just get you into doing it. Let me give you the essence of what's in it. So do take notes, because this is actually some good stuff here I'm going to be sharing with you. And if you're thinking about career change, then this is stuff you really need to be aware of. And the reality is that most people are just not aware of the kind of stuff and the issues that we cover in the career change. So I'm going to use the board here, a couple of things we need to write down. There are two big challenges that you face if you're considering a career change. And the first one of those is really that question: what it is you should be changing to. What is it you want to do? What is your ideal job? What should you be doing with your life? I mean, these are pretty big questions. And if you look through the various comments that have been left on this blog site and in other places, you'll see that this is definitely a question that comes up again and again. Dozens of people have left this type of question on the blog. What is it you should be doing? Well, I can't answer that for you specifically, but what I can do is give you tools to let you make the right decision there. And what we can do together is to help you avoid the most common mistakes. And one of the most common mistakes that people make is that they go from the frying pan into the fire. They repeat and repeat and repeat when they think they're actually trying to make a career change, but they're really kind of not. They're not changing the essence of what the problem really was. So one of the tools that's in career change is something that I use over in the business world, and it's used by many sort of blue chip companies. And it's a tool that's very rarely seen, to be honest, and it's probably one that you're not familiar with. And what it does is it lets you look at very closely exactly what it is you're changing. And here's another problem that you come across, and you probably want to make a note here, and it's to do with this, to do with job titles. If you're trying to answer all these questions and deal with these big issues, and you're using job titles as part of that, then I have to tell you that that's not going to work for you. Job titles themselves are terribly misleading, so not only do they not tell you or inform you or communicate in a sensible way, they actually mislead you. And we explain this in great detail and why that is the case, and why you're really being confuddled every time that somebody does this to you. This is the industry. This is the recruitment process playing its games with you, and we all fall into that trap. I show you in Career Change how not to fall into this trap and how to overcome that. But it's very important, so don't rely on job titles as any useful thing here. Okay, so the first thing therefore is what to change. Take a quick note here. This is an important thing. When you're looking at this, it's not about looking at where you've been or your skill set or your qualifications or your work experience. These are not the critical things when it comes to making a career change. What you really need to look at is you. It's your core personality. And that is the key, that's the secret to a successful career change. And I see many people trying to make a career change, and that's why they keep falling from the frying pan into the fire, because they're largely still trying to rejig where they've been into something else, and it doesn't really work out that way. What you need to understand and tap into is your core personality, who you are, and at a very fundamental level, what is it that lights your candle and makes you feel good, and what is it you enjoy and what is it you really don't enjoy. And those are all personality issues, regardless of your skills, your work experience, or your qualifications. So you need to understand those first and foremost, and then you can maybe look at your skill set and those kind of things. But unless you get that part right, unless you really understand who you are and what makes you tick, then you're not going to be able to confidently make the right career change, the right decision. And this is all about the decisions, the very important decisions that you're trying to make. So that's the sort of first challenge that you face. And if most people really don't manage to figure out what it is they really should be doing with their lives. And the simple reason is usually because they haven't got a good enough depth of understanding of their core personality, what essentially makes up who they are, their psyche, if you like. And therefore, from an understanding of that, be able to understand exactly what it is they need from a work environment. And that's really a big part of what we cover in the Career Change book itself. However, you can go and try and figure that one out yourself. So let's say you're maybe one of the first people who kind of know what it is they want to do, you know what you want to change into, and let's presume that you've done the analysis and you've got it right and you're going to go in the right direction. Now that's put you into probably the 1 or 2% in the world, because I do think 99% never get that far. They tend to not have the direction right. And that's a problem, because when let's say this is the right direction, but if you start out and you just happen to be a little bit off, well, this is the first sort of 2 or 3 years of your working life, and it doesn't look particularly off direction. But as time goes on, what you realise is that you're actually well off where you need to be. And this is why it sometimes takes 20 years before someone actually realises that they've been going in the wrong direction and they really need to make a change. And it all comes down to your personality, your core, what makes you tick side of things. Okay, so that's problem number one. Problem number two is something else entirely. So we're going to assume now that you actually know what it is you really want to do. You know what you need to do with your life. So problem number two is, okay, how are you going to get an interview? How are you going to get someone to take you seriously and give you that job, that role, that thing you're impassioned that you want to do? Well, I can tell you how not to do it. Let's start there, because this might save you, in fact it will save you, hours and hours and weeks and months and possibly years and years of frustration, thinking more and more that it's you that's at fault and it's your problem. What you need to understand is that the recruitment system is fundamentally flawed. Okay, as a process, as an instrument, as an organisation, if you like, the recruitment process is fundamentally flawed. And one of the reasons is that it simply doesn't want to let you change careers. It's not in its interest to encourage career change. What it wants is more of the same. That's what recruitment agents want. That's what employers want. That's the easy thing for them. That's the safe thing for them. That's what they want. They write up a brief and they want people who match the brief. So you now have a real problem, because if you want to genuinely change careers, and it is a change, then one thing you do not have is a relevant CV. Your CV, if you're making a proper career change, is utterly irrelevant as far as employers and recruitment consultants are concerned. You may think that, yes, I have transferable skills. I did this successfully here, so I believe that I can do that successfully there. That's not how the system, the process, the industry sees it or treats it. So now you have to figure out how to land a job that you want, without using a CV. That's what you've got, because your CV is utterly useless. In fact, it's worse than useless. It's actually going to help them eliminate you real quick. That's what your CV is now doing. So there is a way to do this. There are ways that you can do this, and we do cover that in great detail in the Career Change publication, because it's something you need to do. If you're making career change, then you have to be able to do it without a CV. And that, for most people, is, you don't even know where to start. And it's understandable, because, let's face it, job hunting, getting interviews is all about CVs. I think actually most people think there's some sort of law that states you have to submit a CV and an employer has to look at your CV. Of course there isn't, it's just all made up, it's just a habit that the world's got into. The habit is changing, and that's one of the things we touch upon on the Career Change. So this is what Career Change, the ebook, the publication, is all about. We deal with these two big fundamental problems, help you figure out what it is you should be doing with your life, what direction you should be going in, and we give you some really powerful tools, as well as all the psychology content in the sense of it's a personality-centric publication. It's about you and only about you, so we deal with all that, and that covers all that issue that we dealt with in problem number 1. And then we talk at great length about how you actually get job interviews and get people interested in you and taking you seriously when you want to make a career change, when of course you have a CV that's pretty much irrelevant to it. That's the challenge that you face, and I hope that we can help you do that. So take away what we've done today. We've covered a couple of key points. It's something you can learn. No point battering off CVs to strangers by the hundred and wondering why they're not replying to you. All you're doing is making their job easy to go, well, we can filter this one out real quick and real easy. That's essentially all you're achieving. You need to go about it a different way, and we cover that in great detail. But if you do nothing else, don't waste your time, save your stamps, and realise it's not you, it's the system. The system is flawed beyond belief, but at least I can show you where it's flawed and how you can take advantage of that and make it work to your advantage. Okay, check out the Career Change. If you haven't tried it already, I think you're going to love it. It's very powerful, very, very powerful. You can read the comments and the reviews. There's dozens of reviews there from people who have actually used the product, and they'll tell you what they experienced of it. I think you'll like it too. Okay, I'm Martin Gibbons. Thanks very much for watching.